Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
This has been an extraordinary year, of course, for domestic politics and world events. I have a nasty feeling that I say that every year. But 2015 has seen the further implosion of Syria, the migrant crisis, terrorist attacks, and here we've had dramas over Europe, the Labour leadership, all flowing, of course, from the outcome of the general election. So let's take a look back at some of the most memorable moments from the show over the past 12 months.
Hello.
Good morning.
It's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to me to go over everything.
Oh, I'm going to go give an interview in a minute.
Are you welcoming me?
I'm welcoming you.
You are lovely.
Morning.
I think this election is still going to be a close and a hard-fought election. Okay. I'm going to fight it to the finish.
Okay. You would do a deal with him. You would not do a deal with him. You might do a deal with him, and you wouldn't do a deal with her.
I wouldn't do a deal with him.
You wouldn't do a deal with him.
Both these two men would happily do a deal with David Cameron and put him back into Downing Street. That's what we won't do.
Are you going to borrow an extra $8 billion?
It's part of our plan to reduce
Are you
the
going
deficit.
to borrow an extra $8 billion?
We don't have to borrow it because it's
Are you going
part
to raise
of
it in taxes?
If you have a sensible plan to balance your public finances, you have a stronger economy and you have stronger public services.
I keep asking you very straight questions about where the money's coming from. You keep saying sensible and balanced, balanced and sensible.
One to one.
Well, we're going to see who else wants to be part of that.
I have to say, I think it's one of the scariest interviews I've heard for a very long time. I mean, yeah, absolutely. The audacity is astonishing.
Are you the same creature?
Are you the same? Don't get rattled. Come on now.
I mean, is there some sort of doppelganger going on?
Come on, Boris.
Is this...
We're 23 seats short from a majority government.
You may not get them. In fact, I can't see how you're going to get them.
I'm not going to talk about anything other than winning an overall majority.
Nicola Sturgeon has already been talking to the Prime Minister by phone. How was your phone call?
The key point I wanted to make to him, and did make to him, was this one. He cannot act now as if it's business as usual in Scotland. Scotland voted overwhelmingly for change, and I think that has to be heeded.
I'm not expecting a kind of laying on of hands here or anything, but he's the kind of candidate who is saying the kind of things that you were talking about earlier on.
He has a little wait to go, but I think he'll get there.
Do you think it is right at this point for the Labour Party to turn sharply to the left?
The result will be what it is. I've seen the Labour Party written off, come together, come back into government, and that's what we need to do again.
Only one story today and a completely predictable split.
This is a huge change for the Labour Party. There's no point in denying this is a huge political realignment too. But Jeremy Corbyn has got a huge mandate from our members.
And those people already talking about a putsch or a coup against him, what's your message to them?
There's zero chance of that happening. Labour Party members will not accept that.
Is it the view of the shadow cabinet that becomes the Labour Party view whipped in the House of Commons, or is it the view of conference that becomes the Labour Party view whipped in the House of Commons, or is there no whip at all?
You're asking the most fundamental philosophical question that's ever been asked.
Well,
apart from who guards the guards.
So what's the fundamental philosophical answer?
The fundamental philosophical answer is we're going to have to discuss it and debate it and come to a philosophical solution to it.
We now have a leader of the opposition who says quite openly he would never press the nuclear button. Does that worry you?
Well, it would worry me if that thought was translated into power, as it were, because...
So if he wins, he's a problem?
Well, there's a couple of hurdles to cross before we get to that.
I love that House of Cards. 99% of what they do on that show is real. And the 1% they got wrong is you could never get an education bill passed that fast.
Are you in any way tempted by public office yourself?
Oh, dear, no. No.
Or never?
No, no, I'm an actor and a storyteller.
For a long time, you have resisted the vast magnetic pull of Hollywood. Have you finally been absorbed by the dark maw of Hollywood?
I think they've resisted me as much as I've resisted them.
You've done quite a lot of stuff. What's your advice to the kind of younger generation who maybe haven't been able to handle it quite so well?
I say, live a clean life and don't do as I do. See, what am I going to tell them? Kids are going to do.
Allons, enfants de la patrie, le jour de gloire est arrivé.
This is totally different from Charlie Hebdo attacks. This time, this is more like 9/11. This is an act of war.
We stand absolutely shoulder to shoulder with the French in relation to this issue. I think we are both very clear that the terrorists will not win. We will defeat them.
Marchons, marchons. Que sang pur abreuve nos sillons.